Chatting now with Kim Garrett. She's the CEO and founder of Palomar. It's Oklahoma City's Family Justice Center. Kim, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, we saw an email that came out from Palomar earlier today, and that kind of prompted this interview of, hey, there are services available. Perhaps there's some changes. Perhaps there's some, even more bad effects of the coronavirus in Oklahoma City. We need to have a conversation with you and learn a little bit more. So let's set the table by starting right there. Give us an overview of Palomar.
Sure. Palomar is a one-stop shop that brings together the great agencies in Oklahoma City into one building to provide wraparound services for victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, elder abuse, and child abuse.
How long has Palomar been around? It's a fairly recent situation, right?
Sure. We just opened a little over 3 years ago, and we've already proudly served over 11,000 clients. 31% of those are kids. We see everybody from all walks of life in our community, older, younger, everybody in between, men, women. So we really reflect our community in Oklahoma City, and we're really proud of that. The majority of our cases are domestic violence and children who have witnessed domestic violence, although many of them have what we call poly-victimization, so multiple crimes have been committed against that person.
All right, so we've been sheltering in place, or at least working from home, staying at home, confined in our spaces for a few weeks now. And what are you seeing as a result of that?
I will say personally, as a parent and in a healthy family, it's been really interesting. It's hard. It is really hard taking on these new roles of being a teacher and a business owner and things like that. And how do you navigate this really uncharted territory? So it's difficult even for healthy families who have good coping mechanisms and resources and things like that. When you think about the impact for victims of crime, this is extremely dangerous for victims of domestic violence because home is not always safe for these families. In fact, it can be a recipe for disaster. And we were just talking with people today who were saying that sales of guns and ammunition and alcohol are up. Those all are things that can contribute to enhancing violence when you've already got a violent home. So internationally, they're seeing rates of violence skyrocket in domestic violence and child abuse. And in Oklahoma City, we're seeing the same things. Oklahoma City Police Department just shared yesterday that their rates of calls to 911 are up 28% in our community. And when you think that the majority of victims don't call, our rates are probably a lot higher than we even know. What's interesting is I was talking with child abuse providers today, and they were saying that the calls to the hotline have actually gone down 50%. And it's kind of interesting because we know that the rates are going up, but the reporting for child abuse is going down, and they believe it's because schools are closed, daycares are closed, and those are the majority of people who are reporting it.
So those touch points where the reports might come through, they're not available right now.
Correct.
A couple things based off what you mentioned there. If someone does find themselves in that situation, a bad abusive situation, what is advice for them?
Sure. One thing that's really important for people to know is that Palomar is still here. Our partners are still here, and we have amazing partners in Oklahoma City. We partner with the YWCA, we partner with Legal Aid Oklahoma, we partner with Oklahoma City Police Department, a myriad of different people who can respond and provide services still. It may look a little different right now. Some of our service providers are working remotely or virtually, but you can still get access to resources. So know that we're still here, we're still eager and excited and want to help families through this, and that there's still hope. We've actually expanded our hours, which I'm really proud about, to 7:30 every night, so clients can access us virtually through our live chat, through our Mainline. We just implemented a curbside pickup for families who are struggling with emergency services. Maybe they need food or clothing. or different resources like that, we are glad to coordinate with them and get it out safely to their cars. If we've got clients who are at high risk for COVID and it's not safe for them to come to our building, we are glad to have it delivered to them. We're really getting creative in how we can best meet the needs of clients in our community.
It's interesting how this really has forced some improvisation. So you're talking about delivery, you're talking about curbside. I guess we should also mention your location.
Yes. So our location, we're actually in Midtown, 1140 North Hudson Avenue. But again, a lot of our services right now are being done remotely and virtually. If somebody comes to our building, we actually have a ring installed now where they can be connected in real life time with a navigator who can help them
Smart.
determine what to do.
Um, you mentioned how you're adjusting your schedule to adapt to life and work.
Mhm.
How do you think something like this may affect social services going forward? You're adapting and improvising with technology, but
Mhm.
what do you think moving forward?
I think if anything good ever comes out of COVID, it will be pushing social services forward. I feel like when you look at the private sector, a lot of technology has already been implemented in a lot of the work that they do, and social services has kind of lagged behind in that respect. And I think this will catapult it forward. And when you really think about how people choose to communicate, a lot of it is through texting and things like that. When you think about your communications with people you talk to, that's how it's done. And so I feel like social services needs to adapt to the way people want to communicate.
That's a good point. When I reached out to you, it was a text message for a couple of
Yeah.
reasons. I figured you were in a meeting or busy, but there's just so many different ways to communicate, and everybody kind of has their favorite way of
Mhm.
communicating. So those are some of the services that you provide and the partners that you work with. How can people help if someone's watching this and they want to get involved and help out?
Sure. So one of the things we did that's been really well received is we converted our lending library that was outside of our building into a pantry. And so people can actually survivors can pull up anytime and take what they need. But it's also a neat time for donors to, put food in there and obey like the social distancing, but still feel like they're contributing. Or of course we're accepting donations of if people want to donate gift cards and things like that, to help with clients and their emergency services needs. We're glad to accept those.
I also noticed on your website, which we'll mention, is palomarokc.org, where you can find a lot of information about the services and how people can get involved. Some volunteer opportunities. I'm assuming those may be a little bit paused right now, but down the road.
Yes, we love volunteers. The reality is we cannot meet the demand with our staff alone. There's just too many people that need help. And so we rely heavily on volunteers and have a volunteer director, Charlotte Clayton, who's great at pairing people up with their skill set and how they can help us. And so please, if you're considering volunteering when it's safe to leave your home, consider us as an option.
All right, Kim, I'll give you the final word, and thank you so much for your time in this interview. But just to kind of recap, what is the word you would like to get out there to people?
Is for survivors out there, you're not alone, that there is still hope and there is still help, and we are glad to help in any way we can. You can call us at 552-1010 or go to our website at palomarokc.org and learn more about our services and our great partners and how we can help you.
She's Kim Garrett, CEO and founder over at Palomar. And Kim, we appreciate your time. Thank you. Please stay
Thank you. I
safe.
appreciate it. You too. Thank you.